do you see? Feels a whisper in his ear, pulling back the fabric as she nibbles at his fear. What the fuck? Drools, dribbles, words slipping from him, leers as she forces him to look at all that's missing, and his tears run freely. Solum sips upon the scenery, laughing as she lifts the mirror swinging from the ceiling. Hanging from her hand she holds his lips and other peelings, offers him a drink and then she tips it through him screaming fuck. Struggles on the ropes, pleads her for his life, a trail of blood runs in his throat. Beams a pretty smile and then she cuts a lovely bow, and a teasing little knife is gently rubbed along the bones. Works up through his shins and then his thighs and then his chest, pulling up the knife and pattern lines of red ink rests over his sullied sitting skin. Prying up his flesh, she buckles as she picks a piece in violent tugs of death, and then his sleeve, a flapping suit off half his arm, dangles from his tendons as she flops it in alarm. Tries to slap him back to life but guess he couldn't hack the harm. Fuck it, bags a knife and drops him back into the farm. Blissful dreams erupt in reams of colours from his cuts. He sees a dull and muddy musk of fleas covering like a rug of wings. Hovering up above it sings, scurries out on covered skin, burrows down in swallowed sins, leaving lumps of hollowed limbs around him. Cold and buried under mountains, made of moulding flesh, aroma death is old about him. Abandoned bodies left a soulless nest upon him housing. Faces all undressed and on them etched a fucking fountain of screams. Fetched the pain of every kind, tries to push him off but he's encased at every side. Bind and crush on top until he breaks a bit and cries. Finally footing flops the hill and freezing from the pile. Cuts, eyes are full of bloody guts, covering his body is a black and ruddy muck. A thick foul volley of attacks on every door that tells the tale of what she did and chants with every crawl. Broken arms don't work, skin sags, rope burns, rolled around close turns, slowly sound of bones burst, pushing, grinding gross churns, legs, necks, both lurch, crutch, drown, poke nerves, touch, shout, floats, perch, fucked. Mind spinning in the dark, panic pulls the beats of withered ringing from his heart. Hands are full of sheeted skin still ripping from his arm, dangled like a sheaf, a trickle dribbles from his palm, and then he trips and falls around the room, slipping about the floor. Crawls along in silent moves, ripping nails are torn, and then he's groping for the door, a broken beat and bloodied gore of loping pleading from his jaw, with hope and squeezing past the pour of open rooms. Ghostly calling of a numb tomb of blood and shudders, holdings gone after the fun. A lonely swan into the pond, he flaps and follows going on, amidst the burning bodies hung, a scalding colour to the sun, but he can see it as it peeks behind the photograph. Seeks him out and holds him as he reaches at him, groaning grabs, tearing down the lonely past, light beneath the folding flaps of time to sink, could barely think, just staring at his soul in glass. Down the street a boy sits and chews upon his gum. Swore he saw a bloodied face appear at number 1, until a girl who stood behind is walking forward into view, and then they both just disappear and he continues with his chew.